outstanding.
Exactly. You know, and they've Coach Polona's had to go to who just went for the tip ball there, Cada, for Western Kentucky. He and their other big guy have been getting more minutes and been getting more productive. Keda's very good on the offensive rebounds.
Yeah, they've been rotating Blaise Cada with Leroy Odiaye, who the native transfer native of Ireland. There's Waddy Jackson. And New Mexico State, they can be plotting at times on offense, but that guy right there can get going as he looks down low. Emmanuel Chimanga is in trouble.
Western did a good job helping to close out on the inside.
And they get a miss too. Shot clock violation. That was something that on paper, Western Kentucky does not look like, they don't look as superior defensive team, but Frank Polona's been proud of them.
Sure have. They've really helped out better. They caused Texas El Paso the other night into 4 of those same violations.
There's Cada, who started out as a reserve, now starting at center. Jalen Jackson, very experienced. Kalambe, that's Marshall attacking down low, and Lander has been in and out of the starting lineup. We'll see what he does, touching the ball the first time. Kalambe, 3 games of 10 points or more, gets going.
New Mexico State player opened up and let Kalambe, the left-handed player, use his strength and get to his left up to the paint. We had mentioned that was one thing Western liked to do, was to slash and get into the paint.
Kalambe was an All-American in junior college under Hank Polona at Indian Hills, and now, maybe just now, he's starting to get going. There's Filipovic driving and getting fouled.
Crowd here doesn't like, thought he might have walked, but that was just that slow Euro step. Of course, Filipovic originally from Hungary, so very used to that type of move in the European play.
He's been an interesting player. He's 6'7", but he had a game recently where he had 17 rebounds. He's had 10-plus rebounds 7 times this year, just a nose for the ball, and he's a very big riser.
Very much so. Conference USA leading in rebounding at 10 per game.
He averages just under 12 points per game, but he's been 14 points per game in conference play.
You know, that's the thing about it is we're 8 games, 9 games now into conference play, so you start getting some stats for the conference that are useful versus their overall stats.
Marshall. Extra pass, Kalambe, a little long in the corner, but Cada gets the rebound. Takes on Chimanga and throws it away. Jackson feeds it up ahead. There's Cook, and they got him going.
Nice extra hang time there by Cook, and here's Western pushing the ball up the floor quickly.
Now, Western Kentucky, they don't typically turn it over a lot, but you want to see them value those possessions, as we said in the intro.
Well, mentioned that they do like to slash, but sometimes they'll dribble into trouble. Kalambe and McHenry will do that and end up turning it over. Matter of fact, Columbia's the team leader in turnovers.
That's going to be off of Western Kentucky. It'll stay with New Mexico State. And making a quick appearance into the lineup is Don McHenry, who you could, on one view on the outside, would say it's a demotion to the bench, but he has not taken it like that.
No, he hasn't. And I don't know, I think Hank Polona likes Jackson starting because of his defensive presence.
Picked pocket by Kalambe.
Western's going to need some more of those type of plays.
He can be a very stingy defender out there, and they like how he's continued to improve, Enoch Kalambe. There's Bostic, retreats it to Filipovic. He can shoot, but he's really good backing down men, as he does. Kalambe doesn't get the bucket. Chimanga the rebound. It's tipped away. It's contested between Hilltoppers. Here's Marshall. Lander. You want to see how he does early, Craig. And he finds Marshall and misses the 3. Filipovic, another rebound.
Western actually showed a little bit more patience offensively than they normally do.
Nice pass down low, but Bostic feeds it out to Zwadi Jackson, who misses the three. Colombe. Lander doesn't get it back from Cada. That's Don McHenry, who Hank Plona thinks needs to be the best guard in the Conference USA if Western Kentucky is going to make a run at a conference title again. They won the conference tournament a year ago, played in the NCAAs. Lander, step back. Yes!
That's a first one for Lander, first attempt, and drained it.
And you were saying that when he gets going early, it kind of carries.
It does. He's a momentum type player.
And he was on the scouting report for New Mexico State, very aware of Christian Lander as Zawadi Jackson knocks down the off-balance jumper. Marshall off the hard screen, and it was a moving screen. That's 2 personal fouls on Blaze Cada, something Western Kentucky's going to have to navigate, but they...
Who was here for 1 year, ended up leaving and taking the job at Oklahoma State.
That's Christian Cook with the ball for, at least for the moment. He's the guy they really want to get going after his slower offensive performance on Thursday. It was a win, though, against Middle Tennessee. Shamanga, the younger Shamanga, finds Filipovic.
Nice interior pass.
There's 2 Shamangas on the roster for New Mexico State, Emmanuel and Nate. Great basketball family. They've had 4 other siblings that play Division I hoops. Marshall knocks down the jumper.
Yeah, and they've each been at other schools during their career, and this is the first time that collegiately that they've played on the same team.
I asked Jason Hooten about that. That's got to be pretty cool. And he's like, yeah, I think it's great for them, great for their families.
Yeah, I mean, probably their last year eligibility, and hey, why not?
Bostic knocks it down.
And that's something that Coach Wooten did in the offseason. He really went big and recruited, brought in 4 big players.
And he felt that they were very shallow depth-wise a year ago and really tried to rectify that, and he has by all appearances. McHenry misses a 3.
Kind of got a little face guard on that prior to the shot.
Now here's one of the freshmen, Gabe Pickens, native of Phoenix, Arizona. A little of the southwestern flavor on the team from New Mexico. That'll go to Western Kentucky. That was funny. On the little behind the scenes, we get game notes every game. Both schools provide them. And in the New Mexico State game notes, it said, "We are from the United States of America. We're in one of the 50 states. We're not in Mexico."
Yes, don't mistake it. They are part of the 50.
And their team covers a lot of states across the South, namely, has Jackson in trouble, his pocket pick. There's Pickens, too, appropriately named, and he's fouled.
Boy, both players fighting as they went toward the rim. Jackson, no doubt, Western Kentucky's best defensive player. And really kind of intended to get the arm. I think they went ahead and called it. No, I think they just went ahead and called it intentional.
So the call will stand. It is a common foul. First foul on Jalen Jackson, which you can imagine the referees in red and white in the bleachers will be less than enthused.
And I think what's going on here, this Western Kentucky crowd is upset that Pickens didn't get called for an offensive foul with his left arm that he kind of stuck out there.
Well, you know, Craig, well, you definitely know, they've been playing basketball here a long time, and these fans have seen a lot of it.
They sure have.
So they saw a chicken wing, and they're not going to be satisfied. But Pickens does get his first 2 points, and that is his first 2 points in the last 6 games. He's had 5 scoreless ones before this one. And that was he had to scratch and claw for it.
Coach Plona goes to Braxton Bayless, bringing the ball up the court now. He's an interesting player that didn't get a lot of minutes early in the year, and then he's really come on, picked up his game.
He led Niagara in scoring a year ago, and that might be possible benefit with Julius Thedford, who they definitely want the freshman. Him out, Bayless comes in, and the three is good, and there's a whistle.
There's a whistle off the ball, I think, underneath. I think it might have been on a block out. We'll take a look at this play here. Nice pass to the corner. McHenry under control that time, and when he is at his best shooting threes is when he's under control like that. Does not shoot well. He's only been shooting 20% from three-point range in conference.
And so the foul was on Nate Shamonga. There's Hank Plona, and that means Western Kentucky has the rare chance for a 5-point possession here, and they get it.
Udiahe did a real nice job picking off the New Mexico State player, allowing Marshall to cut to the basket.
They really like what he's brought, Leroy Odiaye, number 21, as there's a steal by number 24. Marshall up to 2, McHenry, he lost it. Bayless is bumped and he's fouled by Jaden Harris, the senior from Atlanta.
That was kind of a hectic possession trying to get a hold of the ball, wasn't it?
Now both of these teams, they don't run exactly deep benches anymore. Western Kentucky had one, them 2 key injuries has shortened it, or streamlined it rather, as Bayless misses, and that's off Filipovic.
That's the second time Western Kentucky on out-of-bound underplay has had a nice in the paint play. The first time Marshall scored, this time Bayless had a good look that he missed.
Also might need to adjust our eyeglasses because Filipovic normally gets those rebounds. Marshall hits a 3.
You know, Western Kentucky, they really don't shoot the ball that well from three-point range, but they've made 3 already tonight, this afternoon.
Yeah, they're 231st in the country in three-point percentage, but they're on fire tonight. Filipovic whirling around. It finds Jaden Harris, just Johnny on the spot.
I can see right out of the gate, Filipovic does a really good job of spinning on the interior, keeping his dribble alive, trying to work his way to the basket.
And it's off of Marshall.
Filipovic, good job defensively knocking it away.
He's really been a revelation for New Mexico State, and he had to deal with a lot of injuries over the summer. He missed most of the fall practices. He didn't scrimmage at all, really. Just coming back from back injury, and he was ready for the season. And he has been outstanding. What a great addition to these Aggies. Here's Cook. 2 points so far and make it 4.
Cook did a nice job coming off a little brush screen that freed him up for that mid-range jumper.
Jalen Jackson back into the game after a breather early. Colombe floats a pass to McHenry, catch and release, got it.
Boy, Western Kentucky, if they continue, you know, that's one thing. New Mexico State does a great job defending the 3. They're tops in the league here, but Western's, that's their 4th made tonight, and that could very well help them to open up the lane for some of their drive capabilities.
That was an easy one for Peter Filipovic, who has 7 points. That matches a game high. Tyrone Marshall also 7.
Yeah, and he's one that he will step out from three-point range. Only 2 games this year that he has not attempted a 3.
Shoots it. Slender clip, but he makes that one. Jackson taking it baseline, checks it to Bayless. It cleared out for him. And then he put himself in a more contested look, and New Mexico State comes away with it.
You had the call on that, a more contested shot attempt by Bayless.
Looks like he was just thinking too hard, is working inside, unable to get it. Was Robert Carpenter, a guy who's been their leading scorer last 3 games. McHenry, pow!
Now that was a more contested shot that time by New Mexico State, but McHenry came through with it.
And when you're hot, Craig. McHenry now 3 of 4 from deep. Again, he's been great for Western Kentucky for the last 2 years, but he's been phenomenal the last 3 games. Good defense inside. Colombe. Where else would you go?
I think McHenry's feeling it here this afternoon.
12 points, all via the three. Don McHenry lighting it up.
Well, he's gotten hot.
And that's the thing with New Mexico State. Two guys that they really wanted to limit was Lander and McHenry's been burning them. Here's Cook. Oh, and he starts to dial it up. That's 7 now for Christian Cook, the senior from Oklahoma City.
Too much of a gap to allow Cook to have too much space.
Edlin a little short on that effort. Filipovich, the rebound, finds him. Jack Edlin, they really like to get him in 15, 20 minutes. Team just feels like it flows better.
It does. He's a heady ball player. Does like to shoot the three. Pretty good at it at times.
Brought a lot of great hustle plays on Thursday in that win against UTEP. McHenry, you can imagine he's already within range, but he lets Lander dial up three, who does not connect.
Yeah, I thought Lander kind of faded away on that jumper a little bit. A lot of times you can see if a player goes straight up and down, they're more in balance and more likely to make that shot. When they're fading to the right or left, that's when I see a lot of guys have errant shots.
A soaring rebound by Colombe off the miss of Cook, who faded a little bit on his three, to your point.
And Colombe, he's come along rebounding because he's had to because of Phi being out for Western Kentucky.
Lander settled for a couple threes in a row, both off the mark. Now Colombe's looking like he's playing with a lot of confidence.
He is. He's picked it up. Sometimes he forces a shot, makes some decision making, trying to slash in, turn over the ball, but he's under control this afternoon.
They called a held ball on the play, which ended up being Western Kentucky's. Crowd wanted to travel. Same result. 4-point game. Colombe gets a rare breather. Marshall back in. Hank Polona really likes the flexibility they play. He says, I don't know what position they play, but they're both very similar size, and can defend multiple positions. Marshall can defend all of them.
Exactly. Yeah, because sometimes Hank Polona's had to go to a smaller lineup without either of the two big men that we see on the inside.
Jack Edlin slithered on through for the layup. Here's Jackson. Filipovich, one of the two leading scorers so far. Both he and Cook, who has the ball now, combined for 14 of the Aggies' 22. And he's fouled, and he makes it, and he's going to the line. Nice shot by
Cook. He didn't give it up. You know, they played a little two-man game on the right-hand side of the floor, and he didn't settle over there. He kept moving and got another little brush screen.
And the foul was on Marshall, I believe, and we'll be back. He's made it 4 of 6 from the field so far today, 77% free throw shooter.
One thing Coach Wooden is probably not happy about is defensively Western's ability to score.
Yeah, they're allowing teams 66.7 points per game, which is second best in the conference, 55th best in the country. And Western on a torrid pace so far this matchup. As they're getting the balls, Bostic up to Pickens, and there he goes, blocked by Marshall.
Nice help on the underside by Marshall.
That pass tipped as they're trying to find Edlin, then it volleys back and forth. It'll be inbound underneath. Tyrone Marshall, he can impact the game on so many levels.
He can. He's done a great job rebounding for Western Kentucky. He can step out and make the three. But that time he had a really nice block.
Edlin, the floater, no sir. Wiped away by Robert Carpenter, the Detroit native. He's bounced around a little bit like most of the players have. They're looking for Carpenter, and he's had a great offensive impact. But Filipovich lowered the shoulder and has 9 points.
Took advantage of his quickness against Adiejo. Just couldn't move his feet as fast as the other player.
Off the screen, Edlin looking for help somewhere. Does Marshall have the answer he's looking for? Jackson in the corner. Not a three-point shooter, Jackson. Checks it to Marshall, who hits it off the heel. And New Mexico State with the ball looking for the lead. Carpenter left it short. Marshall. McHenry again. And he misses. Cooled off a little bit since his hot stretch where he made 3 in a row.
That's his first attempt in probably the last 6 or 7 minutes.
Filipovic misses that off the back of the rim. Big collision. Jackson comes away with it. Muscles up, Cook. Doesn't roll it in, but Marshall collects.
Good follow-up by Marshall by not becoming a spectator on the outside. Went ahead and went to the offensive glass.
Tyrone Marshall having a good game so far, 9 points. As the lead for Western Kentucky is just 3.
That's about Marshall's average, I think. He's 9 or 10 points a game, so
right on.
Good start.
9.4. And a foul on Odiahi, and going to the line for the tie is New Mexico State.
That was just a nice aggressive drive on the inside. See it again here and see the contact coming in.
You know, they say about Deontay Bostic, a senior from Clearwater, Florida, arrived at New Mexico State via Cal State Northridge, but he's the unsung hero for the team. He's doing all the dirty work. He got inside there and he could tie the game if he knocks down this free throw.
Well, even though he went up against a taller player for Western Kentucky, he had the positioning. He was able to keep him on his backside and the rim in front of him.
You know, New Mexico State, they missed the free throw with Bostic. Not a strong free throw shooting team. 9th in the conference in free throw percentage. In the 300s in the nation. They're 67% as a team. Colombe working on Carpenter. It opens up for him, and he knocks him out with the left.
I think Coach Plona has to be happy with how often his Western Kentucky players are getting into the paint area, because we said earlier that New Mexico State needed to defend the paint and keep Western out. They haven't had much success doing it yet.
Bostic, a 3. Down and out. I don't know how that didn't fall in. It hit every part of the rim. Jackson on the attack. Shrugs off Cook. Loses the ball out of bounds. And it will go to the Aggies.
Lucky he didn't get caught for a little push off with his left arm. But I think when he did that, he ended up losing his body balance and lost control.
I remember he was the one that got the chicken wing earlier in the game, so he tried it, but to less effect.
His wing wasn't as successful.
No. There's Cook with 10 points so far, leading the way for the Aggies. Carpenter has yet to get going, but he misses the 3.
Well, you mentioned Cook, and defensively for Western Kentucky, they put Jackson on Cook now, so watch that matchup.
Cook trying to battle with Colombe. Enoch got the effort up, but there's a foul on the floor before the shot.
New Mexico State is down 3 on the boards. On the year, they're +4 normally on each game. So a little contrasting in styles and what's going on right now.
Yeah, to illustrate your point, Western Kentucky shoots 33% from 3 on the season. They're 40% to net today. As a team, they shoot 43% from the field, and they're at 48%. So tremendous shooting here in the first half for the Hilltoppers.
Exactly. And, you know, part of New Mexico State's success in out-rebounding their opponents is because they defend so well. I mean, opponents don't shoot normally that well against them.
And a lot of the damage done. Filipovic has been rebounding, but he's got half of their rebounds. He's got 6 of their 12. Here's Bayless battling inside. Through the trees, gets the kiss off the glass.
Bayless is not He's kind of fearless when he takes the ball into the paint area.
Yeah, he used the square too to perfection.
Yeah, he will go up against bigger players.
Here's Bostic. Bostic typically they like to put him on the best opposing guard, and he's been using his offense so far today. He's got 4 points. Here's Osborne. Jackson, a corner three, got it.
Nice ball movement that time by New Mexico State.
Waddy Jackson, 37% from three on the season, second best number by the Aggies. That's McHenry, who's fouled by the freshman.
You know, one of the things I was going to talk about McHenry, you know, we talked about him struggling, especially some of his shooting in conference play, but he figures out ways to get shots, especially off-balance shots going to the line. This time he got rewarded on the foul, +2. He's attempted the most free throws on this Western Kentucky team. He's taken 100 attempts so far this year, so he gets to the line quite a bit because he does do a lot of slashing going to the goal.
Well, there's an all-conference first teamer a year ago, and he's rounding into form again at the right time for Hank Plona and crew.
Western Kentucky has used this after a made free throw, especially show a little pressure in the backcourt.
And Cook misses the three, just a little short. Tipped ball, Harris. Excellent job getting his fingers on that. Imagine Marshall might have dunked that into last week.
Well, Marshall did have a nice run out with about 10 seconds to go against Texas El Paso the other night that put Western up by 4, and they ended up winning that game in a very heated battle.
Yeah, it was back and forth the whole time. From the Western Kentucky perspective, for the team, they're just locked in each possession, but for the spectators, it was a blast.
It sure was. I mean, it was very competitive on both sides.
And then New Mexico State, their game against Middle Tennessee, they were big underdogs and kind of took it to them for a while before Middle Tennessee battled back in, made it quite interesting at the end. Here's Lander. Working on Waddy Jackson, tried to create some space. Marshall. No. Shamonga the rebound.
That was a good decision by Lander. Sometimes he has a habit of forcing some shots inside.
Several years ago.
How long was Siakam? He's been in the league now for probably, I don't know, what, 8 years?
8 years.
Eight, nine?
Yeah, I think you're right on. See, once you're in the NBA, Craig, as you were, then that's you just know. You just know how long they've been in. Cook. Craig was drafted by the Lakers. That was that reference, in case anybody was wondering at home. Filipovic was blocked, and Marshall fouled him.
Yeah, Western fans not liking that. Lander did a great job by moving Filipovic off of the block, and then we get the tap on the wrist by Marshall. He did foul him. Home crowd doesn't like it.
About 8,000, however many people are here, they disagree with you, but the referees, they definitely thought so.
I call it like it is, you know. I'm not afraid to be the odd guy in the gymnasium today.
Now Peter Filipovic makes 2/3 of his free throws, and he has 10 points. Coming into the game for the Hilltoppers, number 2, John McHenry, and number 15, Jack. You got to think for New Mexico State, when their offense 10th in the conference, even though Western Kentucky has been able to make shots, get their offense rolling, they're right on the door. They're going to be going in the locker room and be like, hey, no, we're only down by a possession right now.
Exactly. So this next minute is big for both squads to see how they finish and go to the locker room.
Where would you go here in this possession? Landers wants to shoot it. Colombe will, and he'll hit.
I'd say a kick to Colombe for 3.
That's a good idea. I think we'll run it by him.
Yeah.
We'll run it by him.
Well, they did a good job of keeping the floor spread to open it up for Colombe. Now we'll see what New Mexico State runs here.
Not in a big rush, at least not yet. Jackson looking for Cook.
Yep. Ran some down screens for Cook.
Filipovic gets the rebound over McHenry. Jackson finds it. Zwadi misses. Finds Edlin, the shortest guy on the floor.
Let's see. Well, we've got McHenry over sitting in a corner.
You can imagine he's waiting to pounce. That combination worked for Columbay. Lander attacks and Lander rolls it in.
Well, that's part of Lander's game is when.
And it's worked out great. So far, this is the third game that Western Kentucky's tried it, and they've won the first two. And they're leading here.
Sure are.
They're looking for Cook. Jackson. Jackson on Jackson. Bostic to Jackson. And he misses. Filipovic not able to get the rebound. Columbay snared it. Jalen Jackson, a part of 5 NCAA tournament teams in his previous stops. Finds Christian Lander.
Set play that Coach Hank Plona had called out, but a nice down screen to open up Lander on the outside.
And that might be one of those efforts. We talked about that in the first half. Try to get Lander going early. Because he is such a weapon when he's feeling it. And his tight defense on Cook.
Yeah, I think, versus Jackson, the smaller Jackson being on Cook, I think Hank Plona has realized that Lander provides a little bit more length on defending on Cook.
And they got length on Filipovic, who wasn't able to finish. Columbay made that quite difficult. Cada didn't play much in the first half, dealing with a lot of foul trouble. Picked up 2 fouls early, sat for most of it. Columbay attacks and has 11 points. Foul on Filipovic.
Nice controlled drive by Columbay. Yeah, we'll take a look at it here and gets him on the arm and maybe even a little bit on the lower body. But Columbia did a good job of finishing.
Filipovic heads to the bench for a quick breather as Robert Carpenter spells him. And Carpenter, interesting guy. He's working on his master's now at New Mexico State. Dad was a football Hall of Famer at Howard. And then been working for 30 years at Ford as an engineer.
Columbia misses that one. 83% foul shooter on the year, so that's an unusual miss for him.
Currently Western Kentucky double-digit lead. Cook doesn't answer yet. The run for the Hilltoppers that began in the end of the first half continues as Lander starting to roll downhill. Waves off Cada, looks for Columbay. Backing him down. Marshall steps into one, got it!
Another 3 for Western Kentucky. You know, Columbay, even though that he had the size matchup on Jackson, he took his time and didn't force it. That's what I was talking about. When he doesn't force the action, he played to the strength of that on the kick, nice kick out to Marshall.
It was a 3. Yeah, I bet you that's something they're pretty proud about.
Exactly.
And an offensive foul, too.
Offensive foul.
Yeah, who was that? Johnson got caught for that.
So it's on Robert Carpenter.
Carpenter. And Carpenter, he's played well the last 3 games, 16 points per game. I mean, 16 in each of the last 3 games. But I don't think he scored here today. No, he hasn't.
Yeah, he's been a tremendous offensive presence. He's been up and down this year. So he started up, then was down, and then back up. But he has not got it going today.
Had a down day today. Really hasn't had the minutes. I don't really recall him being out there that much.
Well, he'll get a chance here as that ball out of bounds.
Western once again.
This will be a tricky inbounds.
Yeah, getting a little backcourt pressure. It kind of surprised New Mexico State for a moment.
Deontay Bostic shrugged off the sleep in his eyes and got over to pick it up. Bosick. In some trouble.
He got away with the walk.
Waddy Jackson. He might have got away with the travel, but he found Jackson for a 3. That was much needed for the Aggies.
Sure was.
Number 0, Braxton Bayless, and number 2, Dawn McHenry.
And now the Aggies are showing a little backcourt pressure, a little token pressure.
This is the calling card for New Mexico State. They're very proud of their defense. Every Jason Hooten team is. So they got to feel like their defense can get them back in this game, or at least give them time to catch back up.
Well, they've got to be able to get some stops together, get a run of
this won't
stops.
help.
Up. Marshall sure is feeling it, kind of dancing, coming back down the floor.
He's got 15, Craig.
That's a kind of a breakout game. I don't think, I'll have to look at what he's done of late, but I don't think he's had 15 in a while.
Jackson pops the J, does not knock it down, and Shamanga took a hand to the eye. Carpenter made the bucket. Another peek of this. So Shamanga took a hand to the face.
Oh, just kind of an errant, kind of a poke. Hopefully he didn't get it in the eye.
So by the way, to your point, Marshall, 15 points right now would match his 3rd most on the season. He had 20 against Kennesaw State back on January 11th, but 13 was the most he's had since then. And then today. Played well in the first half, started hot here in the second. McHenry, what a first half he had. 15 points, mostly via the 3. Marshall battling down Filipovic, and his hot game continues, 17.
Well, that's a confident shot by Marshall because he just took his time and backed down Filipovic. Something you really don't see Marshall do a lot.
Carpenter, glancing blow, McHenry the rebound. This is currently the biggest lead of the game for Western Kentucky.
A lot of space on the inside for Western Kentucky.
Keita, the soaring rebound, goes up strong.
And that's what we had mentioned in the first half before Keita got in foul trouble, is he does an excellent job on the offensive glass.
And this was a 2-point game, Craig, late in the first half. About 2 minutes ago, it was a very close game. New Mexico State have been able to hang in there even though Western Kentucky is showing their offense, and now it's an 18-point contest.
One team that makes shots, one that misses.
And there's another miss. And there's another rebound for Keita. Western Kentucky out rebounding New Mexico State 24-16. A 3 from the corner! Their defense has been so good, it's kept games pretty close. The last team that's really took it to them like this was Texas back on December 12th. They need to find something, and they reach up high forward, and they can't bring it down.
Had a set play coming out of the timeout, but just didn't get the execution.
McHenry got another.
You just see a lot of confidence exuding in all these Western players when they go up to shoot.
And also, it's the defense from Western Kentucky. They've not made anything easy for New Mexico State.
Sure haven't. Has Cook scored this? Cook hadn't scored this half, has he?
He has not. No, he's been locked down. Bayless on him right now. And he finally gets his first, so he was just waiting for you to say something, Craig.
Yeah, he was able to rise up and over the shorter Bayless.
And a foul in the bucket. Christian Lander keeps it rolling. That's now 3 consecutive games in double figures for Christian Lander, the senior from Evansville.
Played through the contact, kept his time, and got it off the glass. See, Lander He's just playing more under control. Earlier in the season, he was taking a lot of off-balance shots. He was trying to drive to the basket and was really throwing some off-balance shots on those drives. Also, not only was he off-balance shooting from three, but he was off-balance taking it to the hole. But he has really played more under control in the last few games.
It also seemed like he had a bit of a resurgent year last year for him. A lot of things are coming together. Key contributor on a tournament team. There's another missed three rebound for him, and then maybe pressing a bit.
Yeah, you know, originally went to University of Indiana, transferred down here.
And there are going to be 3 free throws coming up for McHenry as that foul is called on Pickens. His first.
The foul is on the Aggies, number 1.
That was a deep three. He did a good job on the step back to get to the three-point line. I really didn't see all the contact at the end of that play. You know, sometimes you get the three-point shooter like that has a tendency to kick out their legs and draw that extra contact. Sometimes they get the benefit of it, but I'm unsure of what really happened there.
By the way, that's now 4 games in a row with McHenry 20 points. He's got 23 now. He's at 20 points 9 times this year, which is, well, 10 times now. I can add. He just did it again. He was 10 times his 20 points.
So 9 plus 1?
Yeah, you know, it's a tough one. That's a tough one. And he's been a tremendous free throw shooter all year long, too. 82%.
Well, and McHenry was a big part of Western Kentucky's success of winning the conference tournament last year. Got hot at the right time toward the end of the year and carried this team.
It seemed like he would be, he's oftentimes first half, he'd kind of buy his time, want to set up his teammates as Lander sets up Bayless.
Boy, you see a lot of emotion on a positive note out of these Western Kentucky players. They're really in a groove offensively.
Here's Harris. He had to play an increased offensive role a year ago, has been able to settle into one more comfortable to him. This year as Pickens hits the 3. 5 points now for the freshman.
You know, and I think what Hank Plona has focused on with being a little bit more undersized on his team, he's really preached defense, and he's seeing his squad really start to embrace that.
There's a missed 3 from Lander, outlet up to Bostic. Filipovic fouled by Colombe.
Pickens did a good job of motioning for Filipovic to just turn and hope. He was always here, always around the program, always wanted to stay in touch.
So when you see that 45 patch, just cluing you in on what that's honoring. Also, a point was taken off the board. There was a toe on the line by Western Kentucky, so the score has been adjusted as Jackson looks to add some for New Mexico State and cannot. Marshall the rebound. Bayless got it.
Well, it's been a while since Western Kentucky has shot the 3 like this.
By the way, the point that was taken off the board was Bayless, so his toe was on the line earlier, and that one he decided to leave no doubt. Pickens misses the 3. Odiahi the rebound. Bayless up the floor. McHenry, wow. Marshall!
See that setup coming.
With the Duncan shot.
Now, there was an oop to that alley. Filipovic gets the roll. He has 15.
Another one of those Euro step that the crowd doesn't like.
Especially has 16, but man, when things are going well for Western Kentucky, the fans still engaged. They don't like that. That had to be 3 steps.
Yeah.
Marshall, it's his day.
This is Tyrone Marshall's one of his better shooting games in a long while.
It's his best shooting game of his collegiate career. That's a new high, 22 points for Tyrone Marshall, and he fouls Edward Nemoko.
The foul is on the Hilltoppers, number 21, Leroy Odiani, his second the second of the second half.
You know, they say he's from Nashville, the Music City, and Tyrone Marshall Jr., he's playing a sweet tune today. Brings that elite defense all the time, but he's bringing an offensive fury.
Going up with a lot of confidence from three-point range.
Namoko, first time into the game, makes the free throw. He's been 37 or 73% this year.
And I think at times Marshall has sacrificed some of his offensive game because he's really had to step up and focus on the rebounding side of it to help his team out.
And part of that was just the absence of Babacar Faye, who was rebounding great. He was one of the best players on the team.
Yeah, he got hurt in the 10th game of the season, so he's missed now. This is the 12th game that he's missed. Got hurt with about 7 minutes ago in the second half of the Murray State game on December 14th. Had a knee twist in there. They were hopeful to get him back sooner, but there's no update as far as a return this season.
Yeah, they're hoping for bi-conference tournament, but he didn't need he didn't need surgery. They also feel confident they'll get Julius Thedford back by then too.
Yeah, mentioning Thedford, he ended up displacing his kneecap, shifted over.
Oh, Marshall, hold on.
Keeps adding to that career best. But going back to Thedford, 3 games ago against Middle Tennessee, he got hit and his kneecap displaced and moved onto the inside portion of his right knee. So they're thinking maybe a month or so, but who knows on him.
Foul on Jackson. The trick, though, when you get those guys back, ideally for Western Kentucky, they want them both back. You want Faye and Thedford have been playing great. But you also want to get them back early enough that you can get them reincorporated into the lineup and everybody's clicking by the tournament, other than just try to adjust on the fly.
Correct. And, you know, the situation like on Faye is, you know, he played 10 games. Nice block by Marshall. But, you know, at that point, you got to start considering if he can't come back all the way. McHenry, another 3. But on Faye, if he can't come back all the way, do you end up doing a medical red shirt on him? I mean, that's something that time will tell.
That's 27 points for Don McHenry and a foul on Edlin.
What's McHenry's career high? 30?
I will tell you that it is 30 exactly.
Okay.
Man, look at you. You know, when the players accumulated experience in the NBA like that, you know, career highs.
Sometimes I get lucky.
Yeah, McHenry is knocking on a new career high, just 3 points shy of it. He has 27. Errant pass, I got it.
You got it. Coming your way. If he had longer arms, you could have reached out and helped the referee out.
I should have, you know. I'll be apologizing to him the whole rest of the game. Tyrone Marshall, what a game today. He typically fills up the stat sheet. He's one of the most versatile players on Western Kentucky in that sense. But 24 points, career high, 7 rebounds, team high, 2 steals, team high, 2 blocks, team high, 2 thunderous dunks, also team high.
You're trying to say that he's done a little bit of it all today?
I think he's done a lot of it all. McHenry. Western Kentucky getting cued out there, and they've got the buffer for it. Don, no. It's going to be 5-on-4 for the moment as McHenry is getting out of the seat. Cook to Jay. No, the lid on the basket has been stopping him all game, at least here in the second half. Filipovic has 18.
Yeah, and he finally had a chance to go back to his strength, and that's getting on the offensive glass and having a putback.
He's really had fits today with Marshall on him or Kalambe, Edlin.
Everybody's getting in the act. You got it over there, Jonathan. What was that? Their last make made it how many from 3? For
that
West
is
Kentucky?
15 of 27 from 3. Correction, 16 of 28, adjusted.
That's probably a season high for this squad too.
We'll definitely look into it, but it is a party and diddle. Western Kentucky, everything clicking, and matches a season high as a team for Western Kentucky. There's still a lot of time to add more. Jackson's floater's perfect. His first points of the game.
Well, and he really doesn't score much. I think he averages about 3 points a game. He's known for his defensive side, but I figured maybe coach ran a play for him so he could try to score.
He has now scored in 10 straight games, but lightly scoring, defensive heavy. So that will stay with the Aggies. Here comes Jalen Dorsey, the senior from Berea, Kentucky. And Don McHenry's going to get a nice ovation.
Yeah, with this lead, he might be done for the day.
You'd think. Argument could be made. Filipovich, nice turnaround. It hasn't gone New Mexico State's way today, but Filipovich has put together another strong game.
I mentioned it in the first half. I really like his game. I like it the way he plays.
A jump ball, but Filipovich to that point, 20 points, 8 rebounds.
Well, once again, you know, this Western Kentucky crowd, they're up by 34. And they're still engaged in this game. They thought that.
Well, let me tell you, Craig.
Jackson called a timeout. They didn't get given to by the referee.
Yeah, let me tell you that coaches want their players to play as hard when they're up a bunch or down, and the fans are doing the exact same thing.
Yep, that's a good point.
There's Jackson down low, mumbled out of bounds by Shamanga. It will stay with New Mexico State.
Coming into the game from the Hilltoppers, number 4.
And out will go Tyrone Marshall Jr. Career game for Tyrone Marshall Jr. Led the team in multiple categories. Cook had to hurry, missed it. Finds Edlin. That ball skipped like a rock on the surface of a pond.
Yeah, just barely hit iron. That's why I didn't get a shot clock violation. Boy, New Mexico State's really packing it in now.
Trying to force those outside shots, but Lander finds Colombe, a little altered pass. Colombe shrugs off a man and lays it in.
Yeah, kind of might have got away with a little of forearm push against Cook. Referees let that one play through.
You know, you look at this matchup, though, it's just gone Western Kentucky's way. 91 points is a new season high, or matches a season high allowed by New Mexico State, which is, and we talked about this earlier, they're the stingiest defense in Conference USA, and Western Kentucky just pilfered them.
Yeah, that 91 was by a University of Texas squad.
They're not too bad. There's Shamanga inside, Nate Shamanga.
Basket by Shamanga.
Western Kentucky will go on the road for the next couple of games at Kennesaw State, down to Jacksonville State, before coming back home, take on really tough Middle Tennessee team.
Well, and you know, we showed the conference standings earlier. Kennesaw State was at 1-7, and Jacksonville State was at 6-2. So, you know, you think that Western Kentucky has a good chance to go down to Kennesaw State, maybe pull one out of there. But then it's going to be a very, very tough game against Jacksonville State. And, you know, the interesting part about that is their coach, Coach Ray Harper, used to be the head coach here at Western Kentucky at one time.
The storylines will abound in that matchup.
Yes.
Of the second half.
.509 to go. Dorsey, this is his 9th game of the season. Doesn't play many minutes. Getting a good run here late. Step back, Jay. Swatty Jackson knocks that one in. He now has 10 points. Matches his season average. Braxton Bayless. He had a really good game a few weeks back against Sam Houston, 16 points.
He did. He had a string earlier in the year where he had 18, 20 points in a couple games back to back.
He can light it up. That's
He's
10
feeling
for
it
Braxton
today.
Bayless.
I think everybody wanted to join the party today for Western Kentucky.
It's one of those ones, I don't know what it is, but Filipovic joinks it in. He has 22. Where it just seems like when things are just rolling downhill where everybody's making it, like the rim is the size of a missile silo.
We mentioned this off the break, but very surprising that Western Kentucky is having so much offensive success against this New Mexico State squad, because defensively, they can play defense, but today it's been Western Kentucky's offensive day.
Bayless attacks with the right, doesn't get it to roll in. That rebound taken down by Carl Sharafont, who's newly into the game, doesn't play too much. I'll take us to the under 4 timeout. Western Kentucky has put up a season high points against this stingy New Mexico State defense that typically allows 67 points per game, but
Crazy.
So they hadn't played, there was about a 17, 18-year period that they didn't play.
Yeah, they played in the playoffs in the Sun Belt. There's a dunk inside by Odiahi. They played in the Sun Belt Conference playoffs twice, head-to-head.
Well, New Mexico State had a really good big man back their later years in the conference. I think his name was Moore. Actually was player of the year, I think, at one point.
This will be Western Kentucky ball on the tie-up.
Possession area to the top.
There's Odiahi getting in the act. This is the type of game where guys that don't score. Guys that don't make threes, make threes. And ones that make a few, make a ton.
We set our sights on Spain.
See, Xavier Johnson has entered the lineup, his 7th game of the season for New Mexico State, wears number 20 in black.
Well, we mentioned about New Mexico State defensively. They had only been giving up 40% to their opponents shooting from shooting from the field. But today, Western Kentucky is at 64%, so quite a contrast.
And 77% in the second half.
Yeah.
And here comes a big ovation for Tyler Olden, the senior from Scottsdale.
Yep, so here's the question. You see how many seconds it takes for him to take a shot on the offensive end.
Let's get a timer going.
Yep.
He entered at 3:13. And battle down, or at the top of the key between Osborne and Dorsey. First foul of the game committed by Jalen Dorsey.
Yeah, Olden's kind of a crowd favorite when he does get in the game. He doesn't get much time for the squad, but these type of games he does have a chance to enter.
So I don't know what it is about playing here in Diddle for New Mexico State, but they have never beaten Western Kentucky here in Diddle. And so it'll be 9 straight wins in series history between these two. And here's Olden, 3-ball, corner pocket. A little long.
Was it 6 seconds?
That's pretty quick.
Coming across half court.
Well, they're going right for him, too. Battling down low, going up strong. Namoko draws the foul.
The foul is on the Hilltoppers, number 0, Braxton Bayless. His first, team 7 of the second half.
Edward Namoko, who has been at the line earlier today, was 2 for 2, native of Nigeria. Began his collegiate journey at Georgia State.
Just took his time, did a good job without walking. Protected the basketball. You'd think you'd get a smile out of Hank Plona, but
not yet.
Not yet.
He's probably mad they gave up the foul. Knocked them both in. All right, so let's see how long again before Olden gets a look. Dorsey ignores him for a moment. Bayless swatted away from behind by Osborne, the freshman from Missouri City, Texas. Edelin, catch and release, 3 missed. Bayless. Olden down the lane with the left.
Oh, this crowd loves it. You know, there's some players that get on a squad, and look at this play. With a left hand, almost hits the top of the backboard and somehow goes back in.
If, of course it was going to go in.
Now let's just see if he can convert the three-point play or not.
Hasn't attempted a free throw yet this year.
That could be his first drive.
Probably is.
I think a lot of times he just sits out and tries to take three-point attempts
Been the first time
when he does get in.
That's the first time he's been in the paint all year.
Yeah.
Christopher Biku has subbed in, native of Montreal. 6th game. Here's Olden. Nope. Fan favorite indeed. All the fan favorites come up strong today for Western Kentucky. Pickens knocks that one down from distance. Actually, you might say all 15 guys on the roster have been fan favorites. All 18 guys on the roster have been fan favorites today for the Western Kentucky fans.
Exactly. You know, we mentioned that one of the keys for Western Kentucky was to value possessions. And boy, have they ever. They've had a lot of success.
Edelin, no. Biku fouled by Dorsey.
You know, and without turning the ball over all that much either, they haven't been excessive there.
No, 10 turnovers committed by Western Kentucky, which is under their average.
Yeah.
And then 12 turnovers by New Mexico State. So it hasn't been that New Mexico State has been getting turned over and the Western's been cashing in on it, but WKU has been running their offense and they just haven't missed.
Now, you know, we go back to the early success that Western Kentucky had in the first 5 minutes. They knocked down, I think, 5 or 6 three-point shots that really spread the floor, and then Western Kentucky maximized on that by using a spread offense that kept things open on the inside too, for a little bit of dribble penetration and kick, or just taking it all the way in for some layups.
And this is also, New Mexico State is right about at their average offense for the season. They average 71 and change. They're at 68. So this has been the Western Kentucky offense has thoroughly flummoxed and exploited the Aggies.
And I think we mentioned it earlier too, that last 5 games New Mexico State has only averaged 59 points per game. So they've struggled offensively.
Sheriff on the rebound.
I think Olden was thinking if I miss the shot, I might get a second offensive rebound, you know?
He was trying. He was trying for it. Here's Gabe Pickens. And one of his best games of his collegiate career. A foul called. I'd say one of the better games. He's had some pretty good ones so far this season.
His second, team's 9th of the second half.
Yeah, a little contact by Edelin on him. You know, you mentioned that New Mexico State hasn't won here at Diddle Arena. You think it's the 1,400-mile journey that they have to come out here to Bowling Green, Kentucky?
1,403-mile journey.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was rounding.
If it was just 1,400, I bet you they'd be 9-0. Dorsey, a 3. Make it 100. Second time this year that the Hilltoppers have scored 100. And it comes against the best defense in Conference USA. Namaco doesn't get it.
Well, Western Kentucky has a chance to hit a season high scoring. They scored 102 earlier in the year, third game of the year against Campbellsville University, but they're just going to sit back and hold it, which is the right thing to do.
And they're going to head out of here. They were looking for their offense, they said. Well, they found it. 101-69 as Western Kentucky